Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Policies and the People virtual voter rally we are hosting today. My name is Hannah Joy Gebrselassie. So thrilled to be your host for today. We are hosting this event in partnership with Habeshas Vote and Ethiopians and Eritreans for Georgia, which is a coalition working to get the job done, to make sure our people turn out, to make sure our communities show up in this historic runoff election. Thank you all so much for being here. As you can see, we have wonderful guests who are going to be speaking with us today. If you all can say hello, just wave briefly. Yay! Thank y'all for being here. We're going to hear from them individually throughout this program, but we want to check in with you all. Where are you tuning in from? Have you already voted? If you have, drop that in the comment section. Make sure to leave any of your thoughts so we can share those throughout this program. So again, thank you all for being here. We also want to note that more than 1 million voters have already cast their vote in Georgia. So can we give them a round of applause? If you voted in Georgia and you showed up, give yourself a pat on the back because you are making history and you are working to get the job done. So we are going to hear from these individuals again, just a lot about this election, the importance of the leaders running, and how you can get involved. So thank you all for being here with us again. So we're going to go ahead and get started with a PSA from Habeshas Vote to basically explain what Habeshas Vote is all about and again, some of the goals of this program today. So welcome Bemnet, who is one of the co-founders of Habeshas Vote.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It is a joy and a privilege to be back with you again for these elections. Georgia elections affects all of us, right? That's why you must adopt Georgia. That's why we must be involved. What happens in the Senate affects me in Texas and each of you where you reside. And so, like she said, my name is Bemnet. I have the privilege of co-founding Habeshas Vote. We really started this as a response to the 2016 elections. It began 2 years ago in 2018, where we decided that it just was not enough for us to sit back and watch things happen. But we wanted to have a more active role and participation with our community. We wanted to find out what the gaps were. What are the opportunities? Why are Ethiopians and Eritreans and other Black immigrant groups maybe not participating as well as they could, knowing that they are a very powerful group of people. And so Habeshas Vote exists to harness this strong sense of community to get Habeshas more civically engaged. That is what we are here for. And sometimes that looks like data collection and survey creation, and sometimes that looks like hosting forums and increasing knowledge and capacity, or mobilizing by doing phone banks and other events, or actually registering people in person. It has looked like a number of things over the last couple of years, and we're so grateful for the way it has actually expanded from just being local here in Dallas to actually a national movement this presidential election. And it is no different here for the Georgia elections, and seeing people from all over the country participate to make sure that our needs as Black immigrants, as Ethiopians, as Eritreans is represented by our next senators. And so that's really why we're here. We want to make sure that our people are connected, that whatever has kept them in the past before, whether it's language or understanding, or sometimes just not knowing, right? Like it could be a really overwhelming process when you immigrate from somewhere else. You don't know where you fit in. And so we want to help our people find their place, but most importantly, find their voice, right? We have a saying, and it's that, Habesha people, Ethiopians and Eritreans are natural organizers. This is what we do, right? We don't need sign-up lists to figure out how to host weddings or luxos and hazans. Like, we just know how to show up for each other. We know how to share the word quickly. Like, we know how to share good news very fast. So what does that look like for us to do it in a civic space, to do it in a way that affects everything that we do, right? Policy affects all of our lives, from our ability to become citizens to, the education we want for our kids. And so we just want our community to see themselves as like viable citizens in this home, even though this home is their home away from home, right? Mm-hmm. And so we can have power and energy and win on issues that matter most to us, both here in the United States and abroad, wherever home is. And so that's why we're here. We're so excited for all the partnerships that have blossomed, for the ways that we've been able to support, and whatever we can do to assist you. Please let us know and follow our Habeshas Vote page. That's the best way to connect with us on Facebook or Instagram, or email us. And we want to make sure that information and knowledge is more accessible to you.
Awesome. Thank you and Habeshas Vote for all the important work you do, for collaborating and partnering with us to host so many community initiatives to get the vote out. We can't thank you all enough. So we appreciate you checking in, and we will move forward to the next incredible guest. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So they're doing such incredible work. And again, we are truly honored to be working with them and partnering to get the vote out here in Georgia. So at this point, we want to just again show you all some of the awesome guests that we have here today with us who are joining us. So we're going to be hearing from each of them, and they are all doing awesome, awesome work. So our next individual who I have the pleasure of bringing in to share a message with us is our dear brother, Nevada State Assemblyman Alexander Assefa, who I've had the privilege of working with in the past and am so inspired by all of the work you do, the history you've made in Nevada, and the way you get the people to show up. So thank you so much for being here with us, Brother Alex.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, we are truly honored, and we would love for you to just do a quick intro so, everyone joining us gets a better understanding of who you are and some of the important work that you do.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for those of you who organize this, for making this happen. It means a lot, and this means that we are realizing our power across this country, and understanding how to leverage that power to make sure that people who reflect our values and our voices are elected in places of power, and they're there reflecting our voices. I am Alexander Assefa. I am the Assemblyman for District 42 of the Nevada State Assembly in the Las Vegas area. So we represent the people of the great state of Nevada in the Assembly, and the Assembly and the Senate. Together we create legislations, and we represent the people in the legislative body. That's my quick intro without going into my bio.
Yeah, all the work you've done, we would be here for a long time because you've accomplished so much. And again, we thank you for the work that you do and for being such a community leader. So we know there is so much at stake in this historic runoff election. And we've come together today to talk to our community, to say why this election is important, and also why we believe that we need to make sure we're doing what we can to elect Reverend Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff to Congress. We know that, to the Senate. We know that these individuals will reflect a lot of the values that we hold on to in our communities. And so from your perspective, Brother Alex, why is taking control of the Senate so important? Because we know that if Jon Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock get elected, that will happen. Why is taking control of the Senate so important, and how will this benefit our community?
That's a very good question, Hannah. It is extremely important that we take control of the United States Senate. This election in Georgia is nothing less than controlling the heartbeat of America. We all understand what happened in the last 4 years. The last 4 years honestly felt like 40 years in our lifetime. It is about restoring the dignity of this nation. Georgia is in the heart of that restoration work. And in the election season, we've worked so hard to ensure that we elected Democrats up and down the ballot across the country. In Arizona, Mark Kelly, and in Colorado, Governor Hickenlooper delivered victories for us. Georgia is the only one that is left out there who has our hearts in suspense. We need to get on it and elect these two gentlemen and send them to the Senate to make sure this restoration work continues and we build this country better. Don't even get me started on why we have runoff elections in Georgia, a system so flawed and purposefully designed to suppress minority communities. But be that as it may, Georgia, the whole world is waiting for you. Literally, we're sitting here and waiting for you. Control of the United States Senate hinges on the election of Jon Ossoff and Reverend Warnock. And we're maintaining majority in the House. Control of the Senate will be essential to the success of the agenda of the next administration. President Biden cannot accomplish everything that he told us he will on the campaign trail without a Democratic Senate. We've seen what happens when we control the House and the Republicans control the Senate. They essentially become the party of no, and they stop us everywhere we go. The Senate serves many roles, and most notably, the chamber approves treaties. And when we're talking about the restoration of the image of America around the world, treaties are important. The treaties that are signed between this country and other countries is approved by the Senate. Confirming cabinet secretaries and ambassadors depends on the Senate. Federal judges, including lifetime serving Supreme Court justices nominated by the president, is approved by the Senate. And this chamber has appointed several controversial cabinet officials and 3 Supreme Court justices chosen by the president in the past couple of years, and a wave of conservative lower level federal judges that will ideologically shape the United States justice system for years to come. And this is a country that we live in. This is a country that we call home, and making sure that we have fair and equitable justice system is absolutely important for us and for the next generation. So control of the Senate is in the heart of everything that we have worked for in the past 4 years, building up momentum, electing Democrats across this country to make sure that we get back. And when we get back, we build back better. And in order to do that, Georgia is the only one that's left out there that will put the finishing touch on that project. And our community, the Ethiopian and the Eritrean community, is essential in making sure this happens. We have seen what happens when we come together, when we organize, when we register to vote, and when we turn people out to vote. Not only do we elect the candidates that are our preferences, but we can also be elected. And that's what we showed in Nevada. If we can do it in Nevada, we can do it anywhere else and everywhere else where our people live. In Georgia, our people in Georgia right now, you literally are sitting on the most critical election in the history of this nation. I want you guys to get out and vote, and don't even ask why it's important right now. We know it's important. You know it's important. And we don't need to convince anybody that's on this platform right now why it's important. Not only do we want you to get out and vote, but we want you to take 10, 15 people, your uncle, your brother, your grandma who's an American citizen. We all need to get out and vote.
Yes.
And if we don't vote, we can't ask those critical questions, those resources that we're talking about, those infrastructure issues that we always complain about. Those things we're not going to be able to answer unless we have the right people in the right places reflecting our values. And you guys are in the driver's seat right now. I'm sitting here watching you guys, envying you. I wish I was a Georgian right now to be able to cast my vote. But I sit in Nevada hoping and you will do the right thing. And we have shown in the past what we can do when we get together. Our power is mighty. We successfully elect people that we prefer. And in Georgia, my people, I want you to get out and vote. Tonight, let's do this.
Thank you, Brother Alex, for that message. I had chills listening to you share some of that and just, truly talk about how significant this election is and how important the Georgia vote is right now. So my fellow Georgians, you heard Brother Alex, you heard him clearly and loud and proud. Get out there and vote. Thank you again for being here with us, and we will see you soon. And in the meantime, please keep up the amazing work in Nevada, and thank you for the work you do.
Thank you so much.
See you. Wow, that was awesome. I mean, we have so many great leaders across this country working so hard, like Nevada State Assemblyman Alexander Assefa, representing putting on and making sure our communities are taken care of. So we can't thank him enough for all of his work. And speaking of more important work, we know that, again, Habeshas Vote has been out here working hard. We want to welcome another one of the co-founders of Habeshas Vote, Mimi, who is here with us. Salam. Hello, hello, hello.
Salam, salam. Thank you so much for inviting us again on your beautiful platform. We're so excited to share our voice. And shout out to that representation from Assemblyman Assefa, like so inspiring. And I'm very grateful that he was also able to join us today.
Absolutely. We love the representation and we're so grateful. So we know now you are going to deliver a PSA about why January 5th runoff elections matter. So we will pass it over to you, sister, to take it away.
So salam, everyone. My name is Mimi Woldeyohannes, and I am one of the co-founders of Habeshas Vote. Once again, I know you've heard it already from Assemblyman Assefa. There's so much at stake in these upcoming runoff elections in Georgia. All right, so we have less than 3 weeks until the election. The election is on January 5th, and we are here to stress how imperative it is that you understand what all is at stake and what you are voting on behalf of. We know we've all endured a very stressful and intense year and an even more stressful and intense election cycle, but nonetheless, we still have another election that we have to look forward to. It's not over yet. January 5th is the last day to vote. Early voting has already begun in Georgia, and we just want to remind you that this is going to be another defining moment in American history, because this is going to determine which party controls the United States right now. So we have an opportunity right now to see the change that we want to see. And that is all why we are here to stress that all eyes are on Georgia. Like Assemblyman Assefa mentioned, if we want to see meaningful and necessary legislation passed in the incoming administration, we have to make sure we have a Senate who will cooperate with the administration, all right? We don't want another Obama situation where he was not able to pass anything because he had a Senate blocking everything that he was trying to propose. So in case you haven't noticed also, who you vote for literally decides your quality of life. I cannot stress this enough. It literally decides the kind of roads you drive on, the types of education your kids will receive, the type of healthcare you all will receive. So this is the time to decide on what kind of life you want. I know we're all talking about receiving another stimulus check. No one knows if that's going to happen. And while Congress is here deciding what's, how they're going to be able to compromise to get something for the people, we are just sitting here waiting, and some of us are helpless and just desperate for the change that we are looking to see. We are waiting for affordable health care, and that is something that we can continue to talk about for days, for years. We're looking for more equitable education. We're looking for criminal justice reform. We're seeking immigration policy reform. There's a lot at stake, and these are all elements of our life that we are impacted by on a daily basis. So that is what you are voting on behalf of. This is your opportunity to help decide what is best for you and your community. My beloved President Barack Obama said that this election is not just about Georgia, it is about the country, it's about the world. So there's so much at stake. So if you are a Georgia resident, I implore you to please, please, please vote for someone who's going to represent your values, and vote for someone who's going to represent the change you want to see in your local community.
Woo, you said that. You said that. Let's clap it up again for Sister Mimi. That was
let's clap it up for you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. You are truly the change that we need, we seek in our communities. And I'm just so grateful to be able to do this work alongside you.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to do the work alongside you as well, and the whole Habeshas Vote team. Thank y'all for what you do, and we appreciate the message that you shared with us today, sister. Thank you. We'll see you at the phone bank that is happening after this event.
Yes, join us. Bye.
All right. Thank you. I'm telling y'all, I'm feeling worked up right now, just getting ready. If you have not voted yet and you are in Georgia, you can get out there today. You can get out there every day almost every day up until December 31st, depending on where you live, for early voting. And of course, we know that election day is January 5th. So please make sure to show up. More than 1 million people have already voted. We need you all to show up as well. If you already voted, let's hear it. Go ahead and leave a comment and say, I voted, because we want to celebrate you and we want to salute you. So We are going to hear from another guest in today's virtual voting rally, of course, to get the vote out in Georgia. This next guest, who we are going to bring on, describes himself as an ordinary immigrant who's been here for a long time. And I will say he is very involved in the community and does so much to uplift our brothers and sisters. So we can't thank you enough for being here. Ato Merid Alemayehu, welcome.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I mean, especially Habeshas Vote. It's incredible what they're doing. It is really, really nice to hear from you guys. And it's a blessing for me to be part of this group.
And we are
I'm here to go ahead.
And we are so glad you're here. And so we'd love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself. I believe you were just about to do that.
Yes. My name is Merid Alemayehu. Like you said, I've been, I just want to say this, let it be known, I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert on these issues. I'm just an Ethiopian American who lived in the country for a long time and know what it takes, what is good for me. My motto actually in this election is vote my interest. Vote my interest in terms of, I mean, the issues have been known for a long time. Everybody has been saying about this: healthcare, the pandemic, education, race and ethnic inequality. I mean, I can keep on going, social security, climate change. We can go on and on and on and on. In all aspects, in everything, I divided the issues in two different categories. The first one, I say the kitchen table issues are bread and butter issues like healthcare, for example, the ACA, Affordable Care Act. Obama is the one who is responsible for passing this bill for us. And remember, the current administration tried many, many times to do away with this program for a long time. And still they're trying to do away with this program, but they could not. So who protects the ACA? Vote my interest. I will vote my interest, and you should vote your interest too. The pandemic, 300,000 people died. The US is at the bottom of the ladder when it comes to the pandemic. Again, it shouldn't have been this way. Compared to any industrialized country, we are ranked at the bottom. This is sad. So again, who would do better? Let's vote our interest. Education, K through 12, public versus private. And most of our community, we can't afford private schools, so the public school system is underfunded right now. Who would make it possible for these public schools to be funded properly? Again, let's vote our interest. Student loan, college affordability. Who will do better? Let's vote our interest. Race and ethnic inequality. Who will do better? Black Lives Matter. Who would do better in that respect? The concept of implicit bias. Who would do better? After George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, excuse me, and the general reform of the criminal justice system, who would do better? Let's vote our interest. Social security, a very important bread and butter issue for all. By the way, it's going to run out in 2035. Who would fund it? Who would do better? Let's vote our interest. Climate change. This is, the science says this is an existential threat for anybody. And there is environmental injustice too. So who would do better? Let's vote again. Our interest. But the most important is the second category for me personally. The reason I say it's the most important is the mother of all issues is the most important issue is the basic tenets of the American democracy, rule of law, the fundamental system of governance is under threat right now. The three branches of government, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. Separate but equal, remember that. Under the Constitution, separate but equal. But right now, the executive branch, the White House, the current administration, is undermining this concept of separate but equal. I am really worried personally that this country is heading the wrong way. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it is a duck. Dictatorship is looming over this country. I would say two things and finish off my speech. The first one, I mean, just recently, the Senate, the Attorney General of Texas took a case to the Supreme Court challenging the election, the current election. And basically he was saying, let's do away the votes in Georgia, in Michigan, in Arizona, and in Pennsylvania. I'm just throw them out. And thankfully, the institutions here in the United States are strong enough to say no, but no thank you. Just recently I heard the executive branch is trying to declare a martial law. Imagine a martial law to do a re-election in Georgia, in Michigan, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. This is whether the thing would pass or not is besides the question. The very fact this has been tried would just make us to double up our effort to make sure vote for Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. This should keep on going even 4 years from now. This is a very, very, very important election. And thank you again for the opportunity. And could you please show the poster, Hannah, if you don't mind?
Absolutely.
This poster is organized by the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, and it's really they're really talking about how, where, and when to vote. If you go to the middle section, vote by mail is the first one. Request your absentee ballot today by visiting. It has the ballot request.sos.ga.gov. Hopefully, Hannah would send this information to everybody and anybody under your, we're gonna distribute it. The second one is vote early, and it shows the www.mvp.sos.ga.gov. I mean, in the interest of time, I'm saying these things too fast, so I'm really sorry about that. The third one is vote on election day. So you can vote by mail, you can vote early, you can vote on election day. Please, if you vote by mail like I did, double check, call and double check. And as you can see, we got the 3 top contenders there that you should vote for. They're on top already, so it's easy. Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, Daniel Blackman. This is who we need to vote for if we're, like I think Mimi said it best. Let's vote for these people to make our living a fair living. I mean, a fair way to live in the United States of America. I think this is it for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity again. Thank you
so much, Ato Merid Alemayehu, for those important reasons of what is at stake, of why we need to get out and vote. I mean, you said it so eloquently, and you spoke on such a wide range of reasons of really why we need to get out and vote. So we can't thank you enough for really, really breaking it down, for touching on some of those hot button issues, and for helping encourage our community. So thank you again. And we encourage you to keep up the wonderful work you do.
Will do. Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much. At this point, you all, it's just been so much inspiration, and we're thankful for all of our guest speakers who have been here with us today to encourage you all to get out there and vote. Remember, early voting has already started in Georgia. It runs until December 31st. So we encourage you to get out there. We'll have all the links that he shared in the caption. So in case you need to find your early voting location or request a ballot, although we do encourage people to try and vote in person if you can. If you can't, then of course get that ballot and submit it ASAP. So at this point, we are going to transition into our next guest speaker, who is the other co-founder of Habeshas Vote, doing phenomenal work out here, just like our other two sisters. So welcome Sister Helen, who will be joining us to give a third PSA about how you can get involved. Welcome, Sister Helen.
Thank you so much. Like Hannah said, my name is Helen. I'm the third co-founder of Habeshas Vote, and I just want to thank Hannah Joy so much for always just sharing her platform, using her voice, her time, her energy. You guys, she's the ultimate example of what we all should be doing. She has personally inspired me to just be out there, and she's definitely for the people, with the people. She, like I said, is the perfect example. So
Thank you. That's how I feel about you.
Yeah, you guys need to watch her. Definitely keep eyes on her and follow her. So I know you guys have heard all of the many great reasons of why it's so important for us to vote, what's at stake, and from all of the speakers, from everybody that spoke today, and especially like during this election. So what's next? Like, what do we do? You know, for the people that aren't in Georgia, that aren't able to vote, there's always a role for every single one of us in this democracy. There's always a role. We are all qualified to be civically engaged. There is no qualifications, but to just care about your future, care about your community. And so I just want to give you guys some actionable steps. What are the next steps for you guys? Donate, right? So if you are not able to go to Georgia, are not able to go out in the streets, are not able to phone bank walk, or whatever it is, donate your you guys can go to Ethiopians and Air Transfer Georgia.com, and you can donate on that website, or you can donate directly to the Assefa Warnock campaign. Like everything in this world, it takes money to to move things work. We've been able to collect a lot of donations from the grassroots organizations and different businesses in Georgia to help us with flyers, to help us get the word out, to help us be able to afford the phone banking, to afford a lot of the resources that we're able to. So all of that takes money. So if you're not $5, $10, anything counts. So donating is definitely something that we can all do. Other than donating, donate your, not just money, but your time, right? So you can always donate your time. We have so many options in phone banking. We're doing a phone bank right now. So right now, people are phone banking. So we have an event going on. Even after this event, you guys can come join us. We're going to be phone banking for the next hour. And Hannah will put the link out there. And even past today, we have some people that have worked so hard to get us the database and phone numbers for all the Habesha people that are in DeKalb and Georgia counties. So we have a list of so many people that we are able to reach, so we can use all the volunteers. So you can phone bank, you can text bank. Those are things that you can do directly today and now leading up to the election. And then there's also so many other different phone banks that are available, like when we all vote, Rock the Vote, the New Georgia Project. They all have different volunteer opportunities. So there's always room for us to take a role in, like I said, whether it's donating or phone banking. And then also, we Habeshas Votes are recruiting, so we can always use people. Whether it's like posting on social media, just a simple repost can get the word out, can motivate somebody else, can give information. We all write on information. So if you're not able to do anything of the above, repost. That makes a lot of change for people. Like I said, information is key. And so providing information to all those around us. So like I said, Habeshas Vote, we are recruiting. Go to our page, DM us, email us, and we are happy to just join with anybody, whatever you can do, whatever time or effort that you have available. We can use the help. And again, thank you so much, Hannah Joy, for allowing us to be on your platform and for doing the work and for leading the example. Come and phone bank with us. You guys, we've reached so many people. It's been so exciting. We've been contacting so many people for the past 2 hours, so we can't wait. And yes, we're ready to do the work. We've already heard what's at stake, so now let's get to work. We have so much ahead.
Yes.
2020 is almost over, but 2021, we are going to be prepared. We're not going to be just blindsided by anything. We're here to put the work in, okay?
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Helen, for breaking down those ways that people can get involved. And, you know, there's some ways, like you said, even sharing a post on social media or doing the phone banking or donating if you're out of town. Like, you listed so many amazing ways. So we encourage you all, take that action. Listen to our sisters with Habeshas Vote, Helen, Bemnet, and Mimi, who are doing phenomenal work. We can't thank you all enough. And we just salute you, sister, and encourage you to keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you later. So at this point, you all, we're going to go to our final guest for the afternoon. We're going to hear from another one of our sisters who has been very active. She's a fellow Georgian. She's been out of state, but guess what? She's been helping lead the charge with phone banking efforts, making sure we are mobilizing, reaching hundreds and hundreds of people, now in the thousands between phone banking efforts and mobilizing on the ground. So we want to welcome Sister Teman back. Hey, sister.
Hello. Hi. Hannah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here with us and all that you do. You are a great example of how you can get involved. Even though you're not physically living here at the moment in Georgia, you've still been very active, helping with phone banking, helping with social media stuff, helping lead the charge. And so we thank you for all your efforts and all that you do. And so we just want to throw it over to you. You've been so involved. Tell us a little bit about your involvement and what you have been up to in the last few weeks.
Yes, I'm happy to talk about that. But of course, we have to start every call with just praising Hannah, the amazing work she's doing on the ground for the people, with the people. So Hannah, thank you so much for being an inspiration. And anytime I look at you, I'm like, well, what can I be doing then?
Thank you, sis. That's how I feel about you. So thank you.
Thanks. So Hannah, thank you for that introduction and saying, well, I live in Virginia now. I'm no longer a Georgia resident, but I do begin those texts and calls. I get those all the time, y'all. So I'm one of y'all. But it's so important if you can get involved, and you know, like as an Habesha person in the U.S., to get involved and to show up and text bank and phone bank and things like that. So a little bit about what we've been doing. I have teamed up with the Habeshas Vote ladies, and Helen did such an amazing job, and all of them did such an amazing job talking on here. So, and that's as simple as saying, okay, so how can I get involved? And so, there were opportunities there. And so I joined and doing those phone banking and joining with the Ethiopians and Eritreans for Georgia Coalition. So it's as simple as saying, I want to be a part of this, and where can I spend my time? And it doesn't have to, take over your whole life. You can do this and you could still live and work and things like that. But it's so important to do it, to spare those 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, spreading messages about voting, spreading the voting locations, sharing that information on social media. Because I feel like we're so used to thinking everybody's texting us and everyone's calling us and everybody knows the information. There are still people who don't have this information who need it. What if you, today when you reached one person who needed that information that didn't have it? That could be in your hands. So that's why it's so important to do that. The phone banking is going on right now. It's so exciting. And if I may, I will share just a quick story. So I had somebody who said they signed up for the phone banking and how, they signed up a couple of days ago and they went ahead and started just making calls, before our event even started. And the person said they felt so good about the fact that they could do that. And they said, if I could do this and just reach out to 2 to 3 people a day to encourage them to vote and to encourage them to vote early, wouldn't that make a difference? So think of it that way. If we all did something that could encourage 2 to 3 people to vote a day, like we did that every other day, find some time to do that. If we could do that, could that change this election? That's what I think about all the time. So think about what you could do, small, intricate things that could really touch people and help them, encourage them to vote.
Oh, that is so real, and that is such a powerful story, because thinking about how you can make a difference, 2 to 3 people, if you do the math and add it all up, you all, this election is going to be so tight. Every vote is going to make a difference. We saw what happened in the presidential election when Georgia, it was a difference of 12,000 votes in Georgia. That's nothing.
Right.
That's nothing. From the data that amazing individuals collected in DeKalb County, we know that there's about 3,500 registered voters that are either Ethiopian or Eritrean and East African as well. So that number in and of itself can make such a huge difference. And so it really does make a difference. And there's a thing called vote tripling. If you already voted, tell somebody else to vote. Tell 3 people to vote, and that will get more people to the polls. You're sharing all this important work you're doing with us, and you're also dedicated. You are dedicated. You show up every day. Why does this matter so much to you? Why are you so invested in this? Because you could be doing anything else in the world with your time right now, but you're spending so much time volunteering, doing this important work. Why is it so important to you?
Thanks, Hannah. That's a tough question, and it may be similar to what a lot of people have said, but if the events of this year have shown you anything, it's that there are elected officials that are not working on our behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Not as Black people, not as the African diaspora, as Ethiopians and Eritreans, as women, as people in general, right? So if the events of this year made it very clear that the only way we're going to be fighting for ourselves is we put those people in that place. And for so many years, and I'm sure this had to do with the general election, which really made me want to change things up in Washington. But, when you see those small, like all these years where we didn't vote, I literally had this conversation with my mom, and we were like, whoa, we could have been voting this whole time. How did it take us so long to get to this point where we realize how engaged we actually have to be? Because we don't really think about it in that sense. We don't think that the small things, including, the school board, the roads that you drive through, the public transportation that's available to your community, places for a career advancement for Black people, for disabled people, or for people who need it. Those all those small little things in your community are a result of who is in the elected office. And so that is so important to know, like the smaller things have an impact on the bigger things. And for this election, specifically for the Georgia Senate runoff, it is so important to have senators who will work with the incoming administration. Because if you've seen gridlocks in Washington, including right now with the coronavirus relief, we could live 4 more years of that. Or we could have a group of senators who will actually vote on behalf of the people they represent. Because for so long, it's been just people who, states that just happen to always have Republican senators. And sometimes when things go through Congress, it will just stop at the Senate. But that, if we have the power to not let it stop there, or keep building or pushing through things that will actually help our communities at the Senate level, why wouldn't we do that? I don't think there's been a more consequential Senate election that I've ever known. So
No.
if Georgia, and we're looking at you, if this is in your hands, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that vote? What are you going to do with it?
Y'all hear that? What are you going to do with that? Let that sink in, you all. Every action is going to make a difference. Every single step is going to impact the outcome of this election and really what's going to happen in the next 4 years and beyond that. So please, please, please take action today. Thank you for sharing that. And would love for you to just one more time tell people how they can get involved with the phone bank,
Yes.
because of course that is happening right after this. So we really want people to join in and support and get involved.
Yes. So I will put my email address on the stream, so everybody has that to get connected. So the big thing happening right now, there's a phone bank as we speak. We would love for you to come and join us, get signed up, get a little bit of training in. I will help you along the way, and then you start making calls. That's how you get involved right now. Say, you're busy the rest of the evening. What can I do tomorrow? Hannah, Teman, what can I do tomorrow? You know what you could do tomorrow? You could also phone bank tomorrow. The beautiful thing about phone banking, and it's open every day from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So once you are trained and logged in, you have an account, you can phone bank. You can reach out to people. I don't really feel like I like talking to people. I'm a little shy on the phone. You know, when your mom tells you to talk to your relative in Ethiopia, you're like, I can't really do all that. I'm a little shy. Okay, no problem. You have friends who live in Georgia. You know people who live in Georgia. How about you text 3 of them a day until you've reached all your friends and made sure they've voted? Why don't you call your aunts that you never talked to, catch up a little bit, say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, and check in to see if they voted, if they've dropped off their absentee ballot. What else can you do if you live in Georgia? Canvas with Hannah and all the wonderful people out there in the streets. There are volunteer events everywhere. When I say all eyes are on Georgia, I'm saying any kind of organization is on the ground right now for this election.
Yeah.
That's how you can get involved if you're one of those people who like to be out there. And lastly, if none of those sound like the exact right fit, send emails, post on your social media, help inspire people. Spread the messages of what these 2 candidates are all about, because you don't know who will see it and it will convince them to vote. Because you can be that person to convince them.
Yes. Yes, you can. Everybody clap it up for Sister Teman one last time. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that message. We appreciate you. And like everybody else, we also encourage you to keep up the amazing work. And thanks for all that you're doing for Georgia and for this nation and world, because this, as we know, is a pivotal moment in history. So we'll see you a little bit later, hopefully at the phone bank. Everybody go join our sister. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you. That was awesome. I mean, we heard from so many wonderful community leaders, so many inspiring individuals today on why you need to get out and vote and make sure you are doing your part to get John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock to the Senate, because we know that this moment in history is going to define the way our communities move, the way we're able to advance policy, the way we're able to grow. And let's just be honest, everything isn't going to get fixed after this election. The work doesn't stop after January 5th. The work continues, and we have to fight together. And we have to understand that this is only part of the solution. This is not the entire solution. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to solve everything, but we can tell you that this is going to solve a lot of things. This is going to have a huge impact, and you doing your part to vote if you live in Georgia, or to tell somebody to vote if you know somebody in Georgia, or to get involved, donate, volunteer, any way you can. We thank you all for joining us today for this virtual rally. Remember, if you live in Georgia, early voting has already started. Election day is January 5th. So make sure to vote either during early voting period or on January 5th. We will have all the links in the caption from our dear brother, Merid Alemayehu, that was included in that wonderful sheet. We'll make sure to include all the links in this caption. And of course, ways you can get involved with Ethiopians and Eritreans for Georgia and Habeshas Vote. From our hearts to yours, sending you a lot of love, a lot of positive vibes, especially during these times. We're thinking about you all and know that we can get through this together and that we can see victory come January. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.